Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, everyone. I am Marcia from Mom Hunts Dead People, and you are turning in to the Lizzie Borden trial. We have already covered the witness statements, so if you're looking for those, you need to pop back over to that before you start this one. This is the inquest. There were 2 volumes of the inquest. This is going to be part of volume 1. Don't forget to like, subscribe, and do all the YouTubey things because I will forget to remind you. All right, hunters, let's dig in. Inquest upon the deaths of Andrew J. Borden and Abby D. Borden. So it says right here, it's a good thing I read this because I have not viewed these documents before. So it says volume 1 of the inquest is currently lost, but this has been, and it is an exact transcript from the Evening Standard, which was published on June 12th in 1893. I wouldn't really call it a primary source. That would be a secondary source. Maybe a primary source. My instinct says go a secondary source on this one. Because even if they were there as the inquest was happening, who knows what happened between that time and the publication. So it was the Monday evening edition, page 8, plus 2 unnumbered supplement pages. And it just dives right in. So it looks like Mr. Knowlton is the one questioning Lizzie. Give me your full name. Lizzie Andrew Borden. Is it Lizzie or Elizabeth? Lizzie. Were you so christened? I was so christened. What is your age, please? 32. See, I didn't realize she was that old. Like everybody keeps referring to as, some girl when they were doing the witness statements. But yeah, no. Your mother is not living? No, sir. When did she die? She died when I was 2.5 years old. You do not remember her then? No, sir. What was your father's age? He was 70 next month. What was his whole name? Andrew Jackson Borden. And your stepmother? What is her whole name? Abby Durfee Borden. How long had your father been married to your stepmother? I think about 27 years. How much of that time have they lived in that house on 2nd Street? I'm not sure, but I think about 20 years last May. Always occupied the whole house? Yes, sir. Somebody told me it was fitted up for 2 tenements. When we bought it, it was for 2 tenements, and the man we bought it of stayed there a few months until he finished his own house. After he finished his own house and moved into it, there was no one else ever moved in. We always had the whole. Have you any idea how much your father was worth? No, sir. Have you ever heard him say? No, sir. Have you ever formed any opinion? No, sir. Did you know something about his real estate? About what? His real estate. I know what real estate he owned, part of it. I don't know whether I know it all or not. Tell me what you know of it. He owns 2 farms in Swansea, the place on 2nd Street, and the A.J. Borden building and corner, and the land on South Main Street where McManus is. And then a short time ago, he bought some real estate up further south that formerly, he said, belonged to Mr. Birch. Did you ever deed him any property? He gave us some years ago Grandfather Borden's house on Ferry Street, and he bought that back from us some weeks ago. I don't know just how many. As near as you can tell. Well, I should say in June, but I'm not sure. What do you mean by bought it back? He bought it of us and gave us the money for it. How much was it? How much money? He gave us $5,000 for it. Did you pay him anything when you took a deed from him? Pay him anything? No, sir. How long ago was it that you took a deed from him? When he gave it to us? Yes. I can't tell you. I should think 5 years. Did you have any other business transactions with him besides that? No, sir. In real estate? No, sir. Or in personal property? No, sir. Never. Never. No transfer of property one way or the other? No, sir. At no time? No, sir. And I understand he paid you the cash for this property? Yes, sir. You and Emma equally? Yes, sir. How many children has your father? Only two. Only you two? Yes, sir. Any others ever? One that died. Did you ever know of your father making a will? No, sir, except I heard somebody say once that there was one several years ago. That is all I ever heard. Who did you hear say so? I think it was Mr. Morse. What Morse? Uncle John V. Morse. How long ago? How long ago I heard him say it? I have not any idea. What did he say about that? Nothing except just that. What? That Mr. Borden had a will. Did you ask your father? I did not. Did he ever mention the subject of will to you? He did not. Never told you that he had made a will or had not? No, sir. Did he have a marriage settlement with your stepmother that you knew of? I never knew of any. Had you heard anything of his proposing to make a will? No, sir. Do you know of anybody that your father was on bad terms with? There was a man that came there that he had trouble with. I don't know who the man was. When? I cannot locate the time exactly. It was within 2 weeks. That is, I don't know the date or day of the month. Cannot locate the time. It's a weird way of phrasing it, of saying, like, I don't remember. Like 2 weeks ago. But then she says she doesn't remember the date or day of the month. Tell all you saw and heard. I did not see anything. I heard the bell ring, and father went to the door and let him in. I did not hear anything for some time, except just the voices. Then I heard the man say, I would like to have that place. I would like to have that store. Father says, I am not willing to let your business go in there. And the man said, I thought with your reputation for liking money, you would let your store for anything. The father said, you are mistaken. Then they talked a while, and then their voices were louder, and I heard father order him out, and went to the front door with him. What did he say? He said that he had stayed long enough, and he would thank him to go. Did he say anything about coming again? No, sir. Did your father say anything about coming again, or did he? No, sir. Have you any idea who that was? No, sir. I think it was a man from out of town, because he said he was going home to see his partner. Have you had any efforts made to find him? We have had a detective, that is all I know. You have not found him? Not that I know of. You can't give us any other idea about it? Nothing but what I have told you. Besides that, do you know of anybody that your father had bad feelings toward, or who had bad feelings toward your father? The trial hunter in me wants to scream about compound questions, like one question at a time. I know of one man that had not been friendly with him. They have not been friendly for years. Who? Mr. Hiram C. Harrington. What relations is he to him? He is my father's brother-in-law. Okay, wait. So the Harrington, that's the officer that's been running around doing all the witness statements, is related to the case? No. Okay, Massachusetts, you need to stop doing this. Like, I would love to be like, well, it's 1892, it's a small town. But my trial hunters are like, dude, the Karen Reed trial literally has this problem. My dead hunters are like, the what? But don't trust me. Big case going on at the time of this recording. And literally that's a problem, is we don't investigate cases where we are familiar with an accused or a victim. Okay, Massachusetts? Like, no, bad Massachusetts. What relation is he to him? He is my father's brother-in-law. Your mother's brother. My father's only sister married Mr. Harrington. Anybody else that was on bad terms with your father, or that your father was on bad terms with? Not that I know of. You have no reason to suppose that man you speak of a week or two ago had ever seen your father before or has since? No, sir. Do you know of anybody that was on bad terms with your stepmother? No, sir. Or that your stepmother was on bad terms with? No, sir. Had your stepmother any property? I don't know, only that she had half the house that belonged to her father. Where was that? On 4th Street. Who lives in it? Her half-sister. Any other property besides that you know of? I don't know. Did you ever know of any? No, sir. Did you understand that she was worth anything more than that? I never knew. Did you ever have any trouble with your stepmother? No, sir. Have you, within 6 months, had any words with her? No, sir. Within a year? No, sir. Within 2 years? I think not. When last that you know of? About 5 years ago. What about her stepsister, half-sister? What name? Her name is now Mrs. George W. Whitehead. Nothing more than hard words? No, sir, they were not hard words. It was simply a difference of opinion. You have been on pleasant terms with your stepmother since then? Yes, sir. Cordial? It depends upon one's idea of cordiality, perhaps. According to your own idea of cordiality. We were friendly, very friendly. Cordial, according to your idea of cordiality? Quite so. What do you mean by quite so? Quite cordial. I do not mean the dearest of friends in the world, but very kindly feelings and pleasant. I do not know how to answer you any better than that. You did not regard her as your mother? Not exactly, no, although she came there when I was very young. Were your relations towards her that of daughter and mother? In some ways it was, and in some ways it wasn't. In what ways was it? I decline to answer. Why? Because I don't know how to answer it. In what way was it not? I did not call her mother. What name did she go by? Mrs. Borden. When did you begin to call her Mrs. Borden? I should think 5 or 6 years ago. Before that time, had you called her mother? Yes, sir. What led to the change? The affair with her stepsister. So that the affair was serious enough to have you change from calling her mother, do you mean? I did not choose to call her mother. Have you ever called her mother since? Yes, occasionally. To her face, I mean. Yes. Often? No, sir. Seldom. Seldom. Your usual address was Mrs. Borden? Yes, sir. Did your sister Emma call her mother? She always called her Abby from the time she came to the family. Is your sister Emma older than you? Yes, sir. What is her age? She is 10 years older than I am. She was somewhere about 14 when she came there. What was your stepmother's age? I don't know. asked her sister Saturday, and she said 64. I told them 67. I did not know. I told as near as I knew. I did not know there was so much difference between she and father. Why did you leave off calling her mother? Because I wanted to. Is that all the reason you have to give me? I have not any other reason. I have not any other answer. Can't you give me any better reason than that? I have not any reason to give except that I did not want to. In what other respect were the relations between you and her not that of a mother and daughter, besides not calling her mother? I don't know that any of the relations were changed. I had never been to her as a mother in many things. I always went to my sister because she was older and had the care of me after my mother died. In what respects were relations between you and her that of mother and daughter? That is the same question you asked before. I cannot answer you any better now than I did before. You did not say before you could not answer it, but that you declined to answer. I declined to answer because I do not know what to say. That is the only reason. Yes, sir. You called your father father? Always. Were your father and mother happily united? Witness pauses a little before answering. Why, I don't know, but that they were. Why do you hesitate? Because I don't know, but that they were, and I am telling the truth as nearly as I know it. Do you mean me to understand that they were happy entirely or not? As far as I know, they were. Why did you hesitate then? Because I did not know how to answer you any better than what came into my mind. I was trying to think if I was telling it as I should, that is all. Do you have any difficulty in telling it as you should? Any difficulty in answering my questions? Some of your questions I have difficulty in answering because I don't know just how you mean them. Did you ever know of any difficulty between her and your father? No, sir. Did he seem to be affectionate? I think so. As man and woman who are married ought to be. So far as I have ever had any chance of judging, they were. Yes. What dress did you wear the day they were killed? I had on a navy blue sort of bingaline or India silk skirt with a navy blue blouse. In the afternoon, they thought I had better change it. I put on a pink wrapper. Did you change your clothing before the afternoon? No, sir. You dressed in the morning, as you have described, and kept that clothing on until afternoon? Yes, sir. When did Morse come there first? I don't mean this visit. I mean as a visitor, John V. Morse. Do you mean this day that he came and stayed all night? No, was this visit his first to your house? He hasn't been in the East a year or more. Well, that's not the answer to the question. They've had the house for several years. Since he has been in the East, has he been in the habit of coming to your house? Yes. Came at any time he wanted to. Before that, had he been at your house before he came east? Yes, he has been here, if you remember, the winter that the river was frozen over and they went across. He was there that winter, some 14 years ago, was it not? I am not answering questions, but asking them. I don't remember the date. He was there that winter. Has he been here since? He has been here once since. I don't know whether he has or not since. How many times this last year has he been at your house? None at all to speak of, nothing more than a night or two at a time. How often did he come to spend a night or two? Really, I don't know. I am away so much myself. Your last answer is that you don't know how much he has been here, because you had been away yourself so much. Yes. That is true the last year, and since he has been east. I have not been away the last year so much, but other times I have been away when he has been here. Do I understand you to say that his last visit before this one was 14 years ago? No, he has been here once between the two. How long did he stay then? I don't know. How long ago was that? I don't know. Give me your best remembrance. Okay, everyone, we're going to have to stop there for the day. I know it's not like the best place to stop, but because this is an inquisition, there's no actual best place to stop. There's no natural break in it like we had with the witness statements. So we're just going to call it quits right there at a cliffhanger, because every question is a cliffhanger. Every answer leads to a new question. So we'll pick up next time. And until then, happy hunting.